I designed a fully functional Millennium Falcon. It has a complete interior and special functions that include a fireball cannon. I tried to keep it as lore accurate as possible, and I genuinely think it's the best looking build I've made last year. For those that don't know, I design custom flying machines for content creators. If you ever have a crazy idea, just reach out to me. So the build had two criteria. It must have a full interior and a working cannon. The interior part is the hardest constraint. Why? If we wanted to make it to scale, the actual build is about 7 to 8 meters high. This might be fine, as the room height is around about 4 to 5 blocks high. The issue is that that's at the highest and lowest points. In reality, there's gonna be intersections where the height of the build is too short for the inside of the room. So to fix this, instead of building it at a 1-to-1 scale, I decided to scale up the build to 2-to-1 scale. Not only is this gonna fix the clipping issues, it's also gonna give us more space between the edges of the rooms for the walls of the build. This is very important to fit all the wiring and slimes that's gonna be here. I'll skim over the building process as I don't think a lot of people will find out quite interesting. But essentially, with such a large build, we want to be as lazy as possible. I had already drawn a schematic of the outside of the build and the interior rooms, because there's a main axis of symmetry along the middle, but each side only varies a little, like the cockpit and parts of the room. By marking each side of the build with their own stained color, and then overlaying all the sections onto one side, we can see that the true mirrorable parts is the white section for the outside, orange for the inside, and the areas to avoid is the red and blue sections of the colored insides. By doing it like this, it really cuts down on the time. Now, how does the cannon part work? The easiest way to get an aimable cannon is by capturing a fireball that's been shot from a gas. This is surprisingly easy to do. If you stand at a perfect distance away from the gas, when it shoots its fireball, it will spawn inside the player's head, but it will be given 0 velocity. The position to do this is very precise, but by dismounting a minecart onto a slab like this, it will always align you up correctly. But now the issue is that this is a terrible position to fire a cannon, especially if you wanted to have a 360-degree firing angle and if you don't want the gas sticking out of your build. So how would you get the fireballs as high up as possible? You could chain a lot of pistons like this, but there's a much cleaner way of doing this. Suppose you had a fireball at the bottom of this gravel stack. By powering this piston, it will move everything up 1 block, but when the gravel starts to fall, it does not move entities. This results in the original setup, but now the fireballs have moved up 1 higher. You can then hook it up to a clock and continuously feed in new fireballs, and it will look just like a magazine and it looks very cool. Now you have a much better position to fire from. The module can then be added back to the machine. So to start the clock, flick this trapdoor, get in this minecart, and do not move. Get here until you've loaded in the fireballs, then get out by entering this minecart, turn off the clock by going down here, and then you can make your way up to fire. If you want the machine to start moving, this is controlled in the cockpit. Make your way down there, right-click the no block to start the engine, and then click it again to stop it. The limmatic will either be in the Discord linked in this description, or in the description of Lancer's video. This build is special to me for a different reason. When I was first learning Slimestone, one of the earliest projects I ever did was a collection of Star Wars vehicles that included a Millennium Falcon. Granted, observers weren't a thing yet. What I remember about this build is that it had no interior, it had a very janky engine, and visually, it looks like it got dragged through a cheese grater. Coming back to the ship now, it finally feels good to have it done right.
This world is so big, I lost my house. Where's my house?
Me. I found a